Hey, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and welcome to a virtual card and a cuppa. It's admittedly a day late, sorry about that, but I had to go to somewhere and do another demonstration, I'm afraid. So had a good time, but we did card and a cuppa in the morning, and then I had to disappear pretty quick. So I thought I would pop on today. Hi, Linda. And my big news is that I finally have a decent internet. So I'm going to be really, really brave and see if I can actually see this now on my iPad and run two things at a time. But we'll see. Oh, looks like it. Hopefully we're not going to get me in duplicate, but I can at least see. And then if I, oops. So I'm trying, it says swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. So if someone just says something, then I might be able to get it. Can someone type something? Sounds silly. Maybe no one's here. No, I've got two people here. Anyway, okay, so yesterday we did card and a cuppa over at Home Grange. And this was the second for February, and this is the kit that everybody got for the second one for February. So I'll just share with you. It's slightly different from normal because it's not your standard A4, A5 card. So we have some new Slimline envelopes, which you will find in the January to June mini catalogue. And I thought, you know what? Let's use those and make a slimline card. So just be a little bit different. Nice thing about these is that they have, the inside is printed and they come in 3 different colours. So there's white, there is a soft succulent, and there is a smoky slate. So you get all 3 in the pack. So, yep, so we're going to go for a slimline card, which meant we had to cut some cardstock slimline way. So we're going with Evening Evergreen. All the instructions for the cutting and everything will be up on here probably tomorrow when I get a chance to upload everything. So I have an Evening Evergreen card. We have a basic white insert. We have our crushed curry layer that's going to lay on the front somewhere. Idea is most of the cards I've done, it just glues on there. And then we have a piece of paper. So it's double-sided and it's part of the Artfully Layered collection. And I will show you it. So this is the design that actually we used for the card. Although the other side, it's got very much a tropical theme. But this was a little bit too busy for what we wanted for yesterday's cards. And then in addition to those items, there is a little plastic bag, little cello bag, that has 3 die-cut fronds. So we have 1 in Calypso Coral, 1 in crushed curry, and the 3rd one in pale papaya. And then there's also a piece of the linen thread. So that was the kit. And then what I used to make the kit was the Artfully Layered stamp set we used yesterday to stamp some images and things. And inside I have my dies. So I use the tropical layer dies to die cut the image. So that's the frond that we've used. This is a very versatile set of dies because there are some elements that will emboss. So this little element here of the little leaves, this element and this element, some bits cut, some bits emboss. You have a border, so that will cut and die cut some stitching. This one coordinates with the stamp set, as does this one. So those two coordinate with stamps. So these images here are shown at 90%. So that one will go with that, and that one there will go with that one. She needs to go the other way. But the stamp images on the front here are 90%. So these look slightly larger, but they do fit. And then you have some outlines. So we've got a leaf, we've got the fronds, and then we've got some open fronds as well. So those are the dies that, as I said, go with the stamps. And I may even, oh, here we go, look. So that's the stamp that's been die cut. That's the open frond. Now it doesn't match exactly this die because, as you'll notice, the stems go the other way. But if you're just wanting to use this piece as a background, you can turn it over, and then guess what? It will match. So you can use it that way. Not obviously stamp it, and then you've got a different frond. That's just I used the border twice here. So that was just one edge, and then that was the other. So I just wanted to make a thin line that had the points and also the stitching. And I don't think I've got any of the other bits that I've got in here, but I always like to keep my spare bits actually in my box. So this is my new method of storing my dies. I'm trying to keep them in with the stamps. Doesn't always work because the other day I spent 20 minutes trying to find a set. Then I remember where they were. And I wouldn't care, but the stamp set was actually sitting in front of me, but hey ho, there you go. It's one of those. So that was the Stampin' dies. The paper, so it comes as 12 by 12. And as I said, it's got a tropical theme. So we've got some fronds and some leaves, and then on the other side, and what we have got tropical theme one side, and on the other side it's fairly generic. So this is white with black dots. And apologies for the shadow. I've just realised that there's a big shadow going across the page there, across here. Can't actually see it here, but when I look at it, I can see it. So yep, bigger. And some of these can actually be die cut. Let's find them. So from memory. So you can actually, so that will coordinate with that. And I want to say that that one coordinates with that, but not quite. But certainly these ones do. And then on the other side, we have some diagonal stripes. Upside down. So, yep, some other fronds. And then some Calypso coral. So it's sort of faded in places. I don't know what I was doing here. Obviously, I've decided to put them all upside down. More tropical leaves, and then this is pale papaya. There is actually some very, very small writing on this, but you really don't notice it. Certainly you can't read it. Maybe if I had a magnifying glass, I could. But anyway, there you go. So there's that. More fronds, as I said, it's a tropical, and I like this piece because it's just like the dots and the dashes. And then I was going to show you that, but I think that's the same as one I've already shared. Yes, it is. So that means I'm a sheet missing. I'll find out, you know what, is it this one? Could well be this one because I don't actually have much of that left. So this is the other one. So that's the 6th sheet. So it's tropical fronds on one side and a pattern on the other. So that's the paper. So you'll find the paper, the stamp set and the dies are all in the January to June mini catalogue. So that's where they are. I also took with me yesterday a couple of other things. I took the Celebrating You stamp set. The idea was that we were going to stamp and then punch out sentiments. And this is a really good stamp set because it has so many different sentiments that it's a good all-rounder. And I took a punch. And it was only when I was actually there that I realised that the punch I took actually had retired. So we're not going to talk about that one. So I have got an alternative punch here today, so we're going to use that one instead. And I guess you really want to see what I did so far. So the 3 samples that I took with me look like this. So this was the first card that I made. Very simply, we have, so I've used it in a portrait format. So we simply glued the crushed curry and then the paper on the card front. Arranged the fronds in a corner. I decided I wanted mine there, but there's no reason why you shouldn't use a different corner. But before I glued the crushed curry piece and the pale papaya piece, but before I glued the Calypso coral piece, I actually did tie my bow around. So there's a little bow around the stalk on there. And I found that the best way for putting these on, if you want to be able to see most of the frond, is to sort of make almost like a W in where, from where you're putting them on. So you'll see that I've got, the first one I put down was the crushed curry, then I put the pale papaya piece on, so it kind of makes a Y there, and then I put that Calypso coral piece on. And then the sentiment was stamped onto some basic white and punched out. Now, one of the reasons I like this stamp set is the fact that there are different fonts in the sentiment. So on the happy birthday, you've got the happy in here, and then the birthday, so in an open font, which means that you can colour it, and you can colour it obviously to match your card front or whatever. So I used Stampin' Right markers in crushed curry, Calypso coral and pale papaya, and then I just added some of the gold metallic pearls on the bottom of it, and then that is put on with some Stampin' dimensionals. So there's foam pads under there, and on the inside I stamped some images from the stamp set. So we have a Calypso coral frond, and then we have a crushed curry sort of leaf, ornate leaf. So that was the first card. So that was using everything. The second card, I actually switched it around, and I made it into a landscape card. And I always get the pieces of cardstock and paper that's left, and because sometimes when I'm making these, if I'm making 20, we're making 20 of them, then there's not necessarily enough whole pieces left. So this was actually a little bit too narrow. If you look here, you'll see that it's slightly narrower than that. So I just decided that I was going to cut it into some panels, and I would put the fronds on that way. So I cut my piece down so that these measure 6.5 by 7.5, and then again simply glued the crushed curry piece on, the rectangles because they're not quite square on, put my fronds on. So these 2 are simply glued on, and then this third one I painstakingly put strips of dimensionals underneath. Now if you want to put this onto Stampin' Dimensionals, then the foam sheets that I used the other week, let's see if I've still got one. I think I might have one left. So the foam adhesive sheets are like dimensionals, so, and they're, as the name suggests, they're foam, and then you would simply peel this off, put your cardstock on. Only put on big enough piece for the die cut, otherwise you'd be wasting all this. And then simply die cut that, run that through your Stampin' Emboss machine or whatever die cutting machine that you use. And that will make it a lot more stable, and you don't actually have to cut little bits off your Stampin' Dimensionals. The envelopes are not quite, and I didn't plan this one very well, they're not quite wide enough, so the tips of my fronds here have got a little bit battered going in and out. So if you're doing this card, then I would suggest that you bring it more down to the bottom. I don't mind having things off the top and bottom of paper and things. It just adds some added interest. And then on the inside, and you see also when opening up the card means that you crush the ends there, I simply stamped Happiest Birthday Wishes, which is from the lost it, not from the Celebrating You, but from the Artfully Layered stamp set, which is the same stamp set that the this image comes from as well. So that was the second card. Third card went a little bit more different. Actually, there was a lot of people yesterday who decided that they were going to do this. You can see from the post-it notes that I put inside. Again, we were cutting up the paper, so we actually used both sides. So for this one, I'm simply going to glue on the crushed curry cardstock, and then I did actually cut off the ends, so these bits here, the stem, I cut those off because if I put them on, they would have poked out underneath the paper. So you can just cut those off. So I glued them that way, but you can switch them around if you want to. So I glued them onto the crushed curry. I then simply cut my piece of double-sided paper so that I had two pieces. One measured 2 centimetres, the other one measured 2.5 centimetres. And it does mean that you have a piece left which you can then put inside the card if you want to. So once these were glued on, I simply glued on the darker piece, and then I overlapped the tropical layer slightly, and then the sentiment was stamped and punched out. And then this piece underneath, it's just exactly the same punch, but this is on Evening Evergreen, and I just offset it and glued it so that you can see it poking out from underneath. And then again, 3 of the gold metallic pearls. So those were my 3 cards. So I have 2 portrait and 1 landscape. So those are those, and I'm guessing I need to actually figure out what I'm going to do with my 4th one. So if I'm going to bring back my supplies, so as I said, I've got, this is all of it. I don't need the envelope just yet. I do need 1, 2, 3 those and a piece of thread. So I will use those. Now I am going to vary this slightly, in that I think I might use the paper that way, but because it is so busy and I don't actually want all of it to be seen, I'm going to cut down my piece of crushed curry here. So bring in the faithful trimmer. And I need to just quickly measure this to make sure, see how big this is. So it should, and I'll need the arm as well. So this measures 8 centimetres by, I want to say 21. So I need to make this slightly smaller. So I'm going to cut this down to 7.5 wide. So all the way down the length by 20.5. Like that. So this piece should now, in theory, fit neatly onto here. So now I've got a border of the paper around. So that is going to fit on there, like so. But I'm not going to glue it just yet because I'm actually going to stamp on here. I want to use a couple of the fronds. Maybe I just use, don't know, I'm just playing, okay? Let's see, and also do I want to go landscape or portrait? You know what, I think I might end up going portrait. There we go, stamp set. So we have the big leaf. We have the fronds. And we also have the, I don't know, I want to say that it's ivy, but I'm not actually too sure. And then we have some wording as well, which if you can read that, then you're far better than me. So we could stamp all over, or we can just do a random. And I think I'm just going to do random. So that will fit on here. I put it at an angle. This one will fit on that. Just about. So those are my two images that I want to use. And the $64 million question is what colours? So the paper has all sorts of colours in it. So it has Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Just Jade, Mint Macaron, Old Olive, Pale Papaya and Pear Pizzazz. Now if I put, I don't think Pale Papaya would actually show too well on that. So I'm going to go for Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen and Old Olive, primarily because they're actually on the desk in front of me. So it just makes life a lot easier. So I've got my Old Olive, I've got Calypso Coral, and I've got Evening Evergreen. But I only, you know what, I'm not going to use that one. So I've only really got two images. So I'm only going to use two of these colours. So the $64 million question is, what should I do in what colour? And maybe I'll stick to the greens because it's going on to the crushed curry. I think I might have decided, oh, do have that one, and then what should we do? Maybe I will do it in Calypso Coral then, seeing as I have that third one. I'm going to do this in just going to do some random stamping, I think. Seeing as this is a large stamp, I'm actually going to take the ink to it rather than the other way round. Now you'll find that this particular stamp is a distinctive stamp. So although you've stamped all over with the same colour and the same amount, you'll find that when you actually come to stamp, you will have different strengths, for want of a better description. So you will have some that is lighter than others. So it's meant to be like that. So don't panic, okay? And I've just taken my ink apart, as you do. So I'm going to stamp these here. Put some more of these on. Move it around a bit so it doesn't look quite the same. Go that way, I think. want some more of the evening. Have I switched these over? Could well have done. Hopefully it will actually show as being different colours. And last but not least, put some more of these little ivy leaves on. Just put them in the corner. Don't be afraid to take your images off your paper. You don't need to have it all regimented in the middle because sometimes it can look a little bit odd. Let's just close these so I'm not going to put my fingers in them or my elbow. Right, that's that. Put this stamps out the way. So we have some paper, oops, which has got a stamp stuck to it, which we're going to put on here. We then have this, and in fact, looking at it, you don't really need, let's see, what can we pick out? Which way shall we put it? So you could put it so that you've got your fronds picking out just one particular element, or you've got an image poking out, like so. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to glue this first because I know that I'm going to have to chop off pieces. You don't need to go too mad with your glue because I quite like to have some of the fronds loose. So we were going to go over that particular image so that it was kind of playing peekaboo. And let's cut that piece off. Cut that bit off like that. And then we're going to have this one going, let's see, go that way so that it's kind of in line, or we can have it coming down. I think I might have it going across. So that I've got this line here in line with the top of the card. And then I know I'm not going to have anything sticking out too much. Now I haven't put my bow on yet, because I haven't quite decided where I want to put it, if at all. Because just because I've got it doesn't mean I have to use it. That's the nice thing about these kits, is that you can use them or you can not use them. It's really pieces. It's really up to you. So I've got this piece here, and then that piece is going to go on there, like so. So the green will tone it down, because it's quite yellow, because I'm actually looking at the colours that's showing on my iPad, and it's a lot brighter than it should be. Crushed curry is kind of more of a browny yellow, not a bright yellow like it's showing there. But anyway, so that's what I have for that. And then I'm going to use this frond, and I'm going to put it on my piece of basic white that's going to go inside the card. So, and then at least I've used it all, and it's up to you where you want to do it, whether you want to put it in the corner hanging down. Actually, I'm going to put it in that corner, I think, so that it goes across, and you've still then got all that space to write a sentiment. And of course, there's also nothing to stop you from stamping as well. And again, I'm not going to put glue all over this. So I'm just going to put that there. And then trim it off. So I'm sorry to say the deadline for Card and Cuppa kits for next month has passed. It was yesterday, but you've still got a few weeks to order the kits for April if you want to. Simply just visit oakvillecrafts.com, and then at the top you will see something that is a pop down that says kits tutorials, and just click on there and it will then have a pop down for Card and Cuppa kits. So that's my inside. And then my middle, my front I should say, is going to be like this. So we've all been told to batten down the hatches here. I don't know who experienced things moving around last night. We had one of our benches decide that it was going to tip over, which was, I didn't hear it, which was actually quite good. My sister doesn't live that far away from us, and she lost her glass top from her table. Luckily it's safety glass, so, but it also meant that she took her ages to find all the bits. So I guess we were quite fortunate. Now, because the paper was designed originally to sit in the middle of the cardstock, you'll find that you have a larger border around. So that's that, so that's that, that's that. And then I just need to do a sentiment. And then the question is, what are we going to do? So we can do another happy birthday, or we can do the best, oh, I don't know, best is yet to come, happy anniversary just for you. I think I'm going to do a, oh, I can't decide, isn't that bad? So I don't think, oh, here we go, this will fit in. So I'm going to do it as a thank you. I can always do with thank you cards. Now, because we're going to punch this out, there's no need to panic thinking you've got to have it, you've got to stamp it any particular way. So long as you have the orientation the right way round. So I know that my punch, the main body of it is going to go across. So I just want to stamp this so that I know that when I come to punch it, I can easily punch it out. So it doesn't matter if it's thank you that way or if it's thank you that way. It does matter if you do thank you that way, because then I can't get the punch to it, and you might end up not having enough cardstock stock there to actually punch it out neatly. I'm going to go with Evening Evergreen rather than black. So I'm just going to stamp that. And then I'm going to punch it out. So the trick with punching, and you've got images, is you turn your punch upside down. So the punches have a lock, which is at the bottom. So you just slide that up and that releases the punch. Now, where you put the paper in is on the opposite end of the punch to where you've actually unlocked it. And by having it upside down, you can see where you're actually punching it. So there's no excuse to have it, well, you could have it going like that if you wanted to. Actually, I quite like that, but I'm not going to do it that way. But it does mean that you can move this around so that you do have it in the place that you want it. And what I tell people is you can hold this so that it's just holding the paper, and then if you're happy, then punch through. If you're not, you can release and then move it around again. But I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to punch through like so. Do not, whatever you do when you're punching, put your fingers down here. You can if you want to, but I can tell you now it's very painful, so it's not a good idea. So I have my white piece, but I think I need something else. So I'm going to get some scrap of Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to punch another one out, like so. Now I could go side to side, top and bottom. I think I'm going to go side to side on this one because of the way the punch actually has these cutouts here. So what I'm going to do, rather than punching another piece, just simply going to cut this in half. And then I can glue that piece on here and that piece on there, and then I've got some Evening Evergreen both sides. Normally what I tell people is that you always glue the smallest piece that's going to be put on, but if I glue here, chances are I will put it in the place where it's not going to get hidden by the white tag. So I'm just going to put a little bit on tag here, or the label, and place that on there. Just match it top and bottom. Try and get it so that you've got it even. It doesn't really matter too much because you can trim it. And then we're going to do exactly the same with the other end. So it doesn't matter if you haven't cut it straight across if you're on a bit of a wonk, because it's all going to get hidden. And again, you want to put it on. And the reason I like to use the glue is it means that because it's glue, I've got a bit of wiggle room to move it around slightly so that I can make sure that it's showing evenly top and bottom. I think I just need to go a bit smaller. Like that. And then if you've got a little bit that's sticking out, then you can just simply trim it off. And the trick to trimming it, as I've found, is rather than keeping your scissors straight going along the edge, is if you tilt them slightly away, you'll find that you're actually cutting under. So you don't see it, the piece that you're cutting, because you're just cutting up, and it then definitely was not going to be overhanging. I've got a little bit of a furry bit there that's not supposed to be there. There we go. So let's bring back the card. So I could, if I wanted to, turn it and put it this way, or I think I'm going to leave it this way. Now, $64 million questions is, do I want to do it so that it's kind of over that? Let's see. Just playing around here. Or just further, no, I'm going to go further down. So I'm going to get some dimensionals, which are directly in front of me. I have found them without any trouble. I can hear some people laughing. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals on this. Stick one in the middle just to make sure that those are not going to move anywhere. Like so. We're going to put this on here, trying to make it level and evenly spaced, like that. And then I am going to add some pearls, so those gold pearls, which I found the bag. Just put away all the bits that I don't need. maybe we won't use the metallic pearls. Maybe we'll use something else. What shall we use? So we've got some genial gems. We've got some, oh, maybe we'll use those. Some holiday, I know it's the holiday rhinestones, but I use them for anything and everything, quite frankly. Because oh, you've got some yellowy gold ones, or we've got the green. Right, let's see, what colour shall we go for? And what sizes do we have? I think I'm going to go for a green, a yellow even, like that. And then I'm going to put smaller ones either side, just to add some bling. There we go. So that is my 4th card, all finished. Don't need that, don't need that. Let's get rid of some of these dimensional backings, which I'm sure will walk themselves upstairs later. So that's my 4th card. And oh, we mustn't forget that we actually need to do the envelope too. So again, which one shall I use? I think I'm going to use this. I'll use Old Olive, good. So let's do the envelope as well. There we go. So 1 envelope, 1 card. So that's card 4. And then these are the others. Let's see if I can fit them all on here. The problem with them being slimline is that they're being long and thin. So there you go. So 4 cards using the Artfully Layered Bundle. So that's the stamp set and the dies. And the Artfully Composed paper. So you'll find all of those in, as I said, the January to June 2022 catalogue, along with the Slimline envelopes. Don't forget, celebration ends at the end of this month. So this is a great bundle to put on your wish list even. And then you can qualify for a free item from Celebration. In the meantime, next month is going to be a bit of an odd one. I will be here, well, I will not be physically here in the UK. I'll be in the States, but I will still be doing virtual card and a cuppa and my creating and stamping with Fiona, except for the fact that both of them will be on the Wednesday afternoons. Love you guys, but the 8-hour time difference kind of plays into things, and really I don't want to be getting up at 2:30 in the morning. So 2:30 in the afternoon here is 6:30 there. So I will definitely be doing that because I'm usually up and about by then. And I will see you then. In the meantime, the card and the cuppa in-person events will still be going ahead in March and April. Those of you who attend, you know Linda and Carol and Tricia, and they'll be taking it in turns to host one of them. And kits for March are just about done, so they will be going in the post in the next couple of days. So you will get them well before the 2nd of March, which is when the first one is for March. So thank you for watching. And I will see you soon. And of course, if you've got any questions, then please leave them in the comments or email me, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks then. Bye.